everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know that I haven't posted in a long time, and that is on me 100%. But it is pertinent to today's video topic, which is all about things that I've been noticing about my own creative process and how I think a lot of people struggle with being creative due to overthinking in general. And I did write an article on Substack called "If You're Not Creating, You're Thinking About Creating," which is far worse. I'll put the link to this article if you want to read it in the description. But I had this realization recently that a lot of the time I try to conceptualize what I'm going to create before I actually create anything. This leads to overthinking, being overly self-critical, and then I just don't create anything. And these are just my experiences with the creative process, and if you have differing opinions on this, feel free to let me know down in the comments, because one of my favorite things about creating content and posting it online is the ability to have discourse about these things with others, so that it helps me to kind of figure out and land some place that I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. I could incorporate that. So in other words, I like having a dialogue. This isn't me on my throne on the mountaintop preaching to you. This is very much a conversation and a dialogue. Is that candle too close to me? Let me see. Yeah, okay. That made the whole video 10 times better. So I want to bring you back to this was over a year ago. In October, I did a week of videos where I tried to post a longer form video on YouTube every single day. Even if I didn't feel confident or knew what I was talking about, it didn't feel super polished. And surprise, surprise, my channel subscriber count doubled when I did that. I mean, that's not rocket science. That makes sense, right? Because it forced me to be in circulation and to be in dialogue and to create things daily. And when I do that, instead of just sitting at my desk and endlessly thinking about what I want to create, that's when more ideas come to me. It's like overthinking puts rocks in the river and dams the creative current, as opposed to just creating something, putting it out there, even if it's just a sentence, and that usually will precede more sentences, more creativity, more video ideas. Case in point, yesterday I recorded a TikTok that I just had like one little teeny tiny thought that I wanted to talk about, and it was this. I made a TikTok and a reel I posted on YouTube about the fact that perfectionism and fear are the real killers of creativity, doubting yourself, being hesitant. But that was a video idea, and I also posted it to YouTube and ended up doing pretty well. And then of course comments come in, feedback, likes, dislikes, people ask me more questions, but then I also end up getting way more ideas and I become more coherent and more creative. I think this is just something that a lot of people struggle with. I have this friend of mine who I watch her content on, she posts on TikTok and Instagram pretty regularly, but she feels very much like she's struggling with this very thing. Like she is very overly controlled, like she wants things to be controlled, and creativity, unless it is a certain faction of creativity or it works for you, creativity is not controlled. Creativity is messy. You got to get in there and get your hands dirty. And most of the time you'll be surprised with what comes from allowing yourself to be messy and imperfect and to have fun with it. I think a huge problem with this too is how we live in such a perfectionistic, capitalistic society that if you create anything at all, it has to be perfect and polished from the get-go. And so you have people who are overly sensitive to criticism, they develop shame problems, and it takes the life out of creativity in general, because people start viewing it from this productivity lens that, well, if my creativity isn't productive, then it's not worth my time, and that's just not true. you could, if you wanted to take this like really woo-woo, it's not really woo-woo in my opinion, but the Big Bang itself, what created the universe, was an intense explosion outward of creative potential. And it created so many things and offshoots and whatever. That happens every time you have an idea. There's like a little spark that happens in your brain, right? And then you create it and you see what happens, and you can refine over time. But the point is to not refine too much before you've even started, because that way, at least in my experience, leads to paralysis. And if you don't believe me, listen to Ernest Hemingway, because he has this beautiful passage about this very topic. He says, "I would stand and look out over the roofs of Paris and think, do not worry, you have always written before and you will write now. All you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know." So I finally would write one true sentence and then go on from there. It was easy then, because there was always one true sentence that I knew or had seen or had heard someone say. If I started to write elaborately, or like someone introducing or presenting something, I found that I could cut that scroll work or ornament out and throw it away and start with the first true simple declarative sentence I had written. So he's essentially saying the same thing. Like, you have to remove the blockage from actually starting, from actually creating. And for a lot of people, that's shame, that's self-doubt, that's perfectionism, and it's fear. It's all rooted in this thought that we are not enough. The things we create are not enough. If I do create, people are going to make fun of me. I'm going to fall on my face. I'm going to embarrass myself, which none of those things are that bad when you think about it. Like, on the one hand, I actually think it's very important to just expect those things are going to happen. You are going to fuck up. You are going to fall on your face. And it's okay, because you'll keep going and you'll create more. You'll hone what you know more. And especially in America, I'm sure this is a worldwide thing, but I think it's really deeply rooted in America, because I recently took a trip to Europe. I went to 5 different countries. I went to Austria, which I loved. I have to talk about Austria at some point. Germany, Slovakia, Hungary, and Czechia. First of all, their way of life, they're totally different from how we live here, which I think is another topic that's worth exploring. But so many things for them there, their quality of life is commonplace. Good quality food, walkable cities, public transport, community. Their lives over there are seen as, this is normal everyday life, that we deserve this. It's normal. But in the United States, a lot of those things, like quality food, you have to pay a premium for them. Like, they're organic, or they're at just a premium. You know, they market it as like, well, this is something you have to work for in order to have it. But in Europe, it's just a part of life. So America, in my opinion, is a lot more like a corporation. If you are here, you're here to work. You're here to get shit done. And if you don't make money, if you're not perfect, you are a failure. And unfortunately, this has bled into nearly every aspect of our lives. I mean, how many people do I hear saying that they have to grind today, you know, and then they'll grind for 12 hours. They'll maybe get a gym session in, maybe eat a little bit, they'll go to bed, and they'll do it all over again. And there's no time for genuine connection with people. There's no time for enjoyment, going for a nice walk. We can't really even go for walks in the US unless you're lucky enough to live in a walkable city. But these everyday things that are commonplace in a lot of countries in Europe, you got to pay for them here. You got to struggle for them here, or at least that is the perception, that you have to struggle for them. And so that bleeds into our ability to take risks sometimes, or our view on creativity, taking risks, showing up, being perceived, is through this lens of perfectionism and shame. Everything becomes certain. Like, no, I'm perfect, actually, and you suck. You should be deplatformed and canceled for what you said because you're a horrible person and I'm not. Like making the uncertain certain is detrimental, not only for creativity, but people as a whole. And I will admit, like before I started recording this video, I would record little snippets of it. I would watch it and I'd be like, oh, I hate the way I look. I don't know what to talk about. I'm just not going to record today. But I said, no, Kate, the way that you create things is being in the current, commenting on things that are real for you and that you think could help the collective or like whoever's watching my videos, and being in conversation with my creativity. I find my way through making things, through speaking, through putting myself out there to allow myself to be perceived, even when it's uncomfortable. I think the world in general, but America in particular, has a really bad shame problem. And we all want to be perfect. We all want to be rich. We all want to seem like we've got it. But there's some genuinely fucked up things going on right now. And I think the most radical way to transform those things is not in fighting against the shit in the world. I think it's in being so radically yourself, whatever that looks like, and being wildly creative that will end up shifting the world in general. I mean, yes, okay, it's cliche, be the change you wish to see in the world. There really is something to that. If we're upset about something that's happening overseas, and it's horrible, it absolutely is, but we're not doing things to change ourselves, we're not creating good in the world, or we're not being authentic to ourselves, whatever that looks like, I think that just adds to the problem. You know? Like, what is it about the things that really bother us in the world that's going on? It's injustice, it's oppression, it's unfairness, or cruelty, things like that. But then we don't take the time to look at ourselves and go, how have I been cruel or unjust to the people around me? How can I change that? How can I be more radically myself, more creative? And that will change the world because I've changed myself. So I guess what I want to end this video on is this quote that I wrote in my Substack article. Again, feel free to check it out and subscribe to the Folklore Library. There is no magic in sitting around and contemplating what you want to create. It kills it. So create more, be messy, have fun with it, make time for it. It's important for all of us to have enjoyment and live our best lives possible. Oh yeah, at the end I wrote, so stop it, thinking is making you constipated. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be constipated. So this is just, you know, a quick video I wanted to put out there and exercise being creative, even if this video isn't super polished or it's rambly or whatever. That is okay. Because I want to, I'm somebody who is very naturally drawn to communication and putting my thoughts and ideas out there. It's like almost a sacred act to me. It's something I have to do. And I feel like my world constricts when I don't do that. So I'm going to do my best to listen to the reel that I just posted. I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to watch it. Discipline. Don't just disappear, because I do that way too often. I'll have these periods of creating and then I'll fall away. And those are things I'm working out on my own time. But I want to consistently show up. I want to consistently put my creations out there because it's important for me in my own actualization and selfhood to get to be me in this lifetime, if that makes sense. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out the links I have in my bio, in my bio, it's been so long since I've made a YouTube video, in my description section, I have a Substack that I write on regularly. Threads is like the epicenter for me with creativity. I feel like it's the perfect place for me to get ideas to make longer form content. So my longer form content is here on YouTube and on Substack, but I'm trying to just sort of build an ecosystem of perception and just have fun with it. Because if it's not fun, what's the point? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.